Life is hard. I mean, let's just be real. When things get hard, a lot of times people say, oh, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'll be honest with myself too. There was a time in my life where, man, you chasing a promotion or I even go back to even when dating or whatever. It's like when me and my wife were dating, hey, I'm like, we're going out, I'm whining and dining and doing all that. I'm all into her and we get married. The stuff I did to get her as my wife, how much of that I stopped doing? But that attitude comes with everything. The metaphor here is that's life. So you gotta take care of what you got today so that you can get it out the way so you can be ready for tomorrow. Hey, welcome to the Day for Tomorrow podcast. We got Mike back in the seat. However, you can see Martell's on the road now.
Yeah.
So look, we're gonna get the game back and we're gonna have some guests too in the future as well. So, we're gonna get down on this topic that actually Mike and I were talking about it before we got on. We're like, wait a minute, we gotta say this for the podcast. So I'm gonna let Mike set it up for you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go straight to the punchline, and then I'm gonna back into the description. So the title was called There Is No Tomorrow, okay? And that can be interpreted in many different ways. You could take an optimistic view, you could take a pessimistic view, but we're gonna share like what that means to us. And we wanna ask you guys some questions as God-fearing people, Christian people. How should we view today and the things that happen today versus what we're planning for tomorrow or in the future? And the reason why I love this title, obviously I got the shirt on and you can see this is inspired by the movie Rocky, right? This old school.
I'm a Rocky fan.
I'm
a big Rocky fan,
but
yeah.
Some of these viewers might be young. That's when Martell gets back, we'll see if he actually seen it. Yeah. But this is a prequel to Creed. A lot of people know Creed. Kind of a similar storyline, but more modernized. But in this particular episode, the movie Rocky 3, it was showing, Rocky Balboa, he had a certain level of success at this point, right? The family was doing good. I think they were showing them at Christmas. They had like a little robot.
They had a mansion.
They had a mansion.
Yeah.
And he still wanted to fight. He was kind of, he had one foot in, one foot out. And his trainer, Mickey, who was all grit, he was just looking at him like, man, you losing it. And one day he was doing a press conference and this guy, Clubber Lang, who was played by Mr. T from Chicago.
Oh
right?
yeah, I know Mr. T.
So he started yelling out, calling him out, disrespecting his wife, disrespecting Mickey. And, of course, Rocky, like, man, hey, let's run it. Let's get in the ring. Let's do it. That's what the young guy wanted. He needed an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Mickey told him straight up, like, listen, this ain't what you want. This dude is a killer. Like he's literally looking for blood because that's the type of life. He's like, you not there yet, and you're not there right now.
Yeah.
You was there at one point, but with success, it always comes at a cost. And sometimes the cost can be the hunger that puts you in that position. Yeah. So before I go any further, I want to just kick it off.
Because look, like I said, Rocky is like I can quote a lot of the parts of Rocky, and I think it's a great topic because when things get hard, a lot of times people say, "Oh, I'm gonna do that tomorrow," and in life is hard. I mean, let's just be real, and I don't care where you at in life, it's gonna be hard. How you laid out how Rocky was, so he was hungry. And he was out there to get it. He was going to go through a wall to get it. But then when he got what I would call success, he got complacent and relaxed. You get a little lazy. And then you get somebody else who like lives life like there's no tomorrow. And they like, I got to get it right now.
Yep.
And that whole premise, I think, I'll be honest with myself too. So I'm older. And there was a time in my life where, man, you chasing a promotion or I even go back to even when dating or whatever. It's like when me and my wife were dating, hey, I'm like, we're going out, I'm whining and dining and doing all that. I'm all into her. And, and we get married and I had to check, she checked me, but it's like, man, what the stuff I did to get her as my wife, how much of that I stopped doing? You know what I'm saying? And I had to check myself today and be like, okay, wait a minute. Tomorrow not promised. If we want to do A, B, and C, let's go ahead and do it. and everything within reason, but that attitude comes with everything.
I was thinking, it was some things going on in real estate that also made me think about this. I recently, I had an investment that was probably about 3 years ago. And at the time, this was an investment in an area that it just wasn't a sure thing, to most people. But when I ran my numbers, I ran them very conservatively, saying, okay, this is the floor. And based on the floor, not hitting a home run, if we just hit the floor, we'll still be good. We'll still be an okay investment. Yeah. We're gonna make our money back that we invested, and we'll make a little bit. We ain't gonna make a killer, but we'll make a little bit. And fast forward, 3 years later, this is one of those properties that I strategically just kind of keep free and clear, and I always do that with a certain portion of the portfolio. I'm like, you know what? Let's position ourselves to buy more in the auction that's coming up. Let's get a little liquid. Let's see what this property is going to do. Let's see what it's worth. Get an appraisal, and appraisal did well. It did extremely well. Like it did like 3 times. Well, I'll say double what I might have thought it was. Yeah. And it caused me to think, like, man, I remember exactly when I bought this property. And I remember my mindset. I remember thinking, like, all right, just gonna do is we don't know. But I'm basing it on what it can be in the future value, not today's value. And even with that, I think we have to consider everything, because some people will say, you know what? Because there is no tomorrow, let's just go crazy today. This is how a lot of people from our community think. They're like, they're balling out. I want that car. I'm getting it right now because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next year. I'm getting the car I can't afford. I'm getting the house I can't afford. Every time you see me, I'm wearing all my jewelry. And you look up 2-3 years later, some of those same people are they down bad now. And so I'm like, man, this is truly a double-edged blade. And we have to look at this with the right perspective, because in the Bible, it's a verse. I know Martell, he said this verse before, Ephesians 5:16. Make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Days are evil. The time can get away from you. And the reality is, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow.
We don't. And man, Mike, what you laid out, and I hope people hear everything you said, because you got to live like there's no tomorrow. But what you were saying also in that, and you made sure you put that disclaimer in it, not that you don't plan for tomorrow. So you know what I'm saying? So when the deal you got with the house, even and so forth, was that was several years ago. And you could have sat on it, you could have missed out on it, but you had to act on that then. But the point though is that you was able to use that to act on something else, but that had to sit for a minute. It had to be, it was part of the plan. So the whole thing about if you was gonna ball out, then it's like, oh, you would have took it cash out right then or whatever, took that, and that money gone somewhere, and you can't even place it. You can't even pull back or draw on it, I should say, to do what you're doing now. So please, disclaimer, when we say, live like there's no tomorrow, we're not saying that you don't plan for tomorrow.
So it made me think about this quote I heard, and it said, plan as if you're gonna live forever. So when you make your investments, you're making them for lifetime, generations to come. But live each day as if this is all we have. That's the biggest thing that I try to keep it close to my heart, and I try to live it. COVID was a time period where, for a minute, nobody really knew what was going on. We like, hey, is this it? Is this the big one?
Yeah.
Like Sanford, like, hey,
no, you're right.
This might be the big one.
You're right.
And
that's real.
You hug the kids a little longer. You spend a little bit more time with the people that you care about. And we've all had loved ones that, looking back, if we would have known, man, that was it. Like, we would have spent a little bit more time. Would have been a little bit more intentional. And that's the trick of being a human, where, we truly do have to plan. We do have to invest in that 401k. We do have to, in my world, I'm always say, invest in some real estate. You do have to squirrel money aside, like you always say, to make sure that we're going to be ready for when, we need those reserves. But at the same time, we have to have that urgency to where we need to get everything we can get today.
Yeah.
We cannot procrastinate. We cannot put off something that is truly important. We need to get it done today, figure it out, stay up later, wake up earlier, but be intentional about making that priority, making it a priority, and then actually checking it off and doing it.
And you said the key word. I think that's what urgency, making it a priority. And I'm gonna throw this out, right? Because I'm wrestling with this myself. I think we all do in some respects if you're out there doing stuff. Making things a priority when you got like gobs of things to do. I mean, that's kind of the season I'm in right now. It's like, I know, okay, and I think I told you I had to go back to the tracker. I think you shared with me years ago.
Yep.
You know, to kind of start laying things down, to kind of set the priority. Now, when I made the tracker, when I did it, and you know, this is something for everybody to think. So we ain't sitting here like we got the formula, we got to like snap our fingers and fix, and we got this figured out all the time. I had to go back to that tracker, and I started to write everything. I did just from a week basis. Hey, this is what I need to get done this week. When I had everything filled out, I like, no wonder I can't get everything done. There's too much on here.
Too much.
Because in my mind, when I didn't do that, oh, I can get this done. But when I put it on paper and realized how much I was putting out there to do, it was impossible for me to do it. So at least seeing it now, I'm like, okay, now I can chunk it out.
Yeah.
Now, I need to push this, or maybe I need to not. Okay, I can't sign up for this right now because I got too much and still to do. So when we're talking about living like there's no tomorrow, you actually got to figure out what you got to do, for tomorrow, and what needs to wait because it's not important enough.
Yep. What's a priority?
Yep.
So one of my daily prayers that I ask God every single day, I say, Lord, bring me closer to your will and clarify what the priorities are. Not my list of to-dos that's 100 things long, because like you said, the reality is the reality. I'm not gonna get through 100 things today.
No.
But what's the main 3 that cannot go into tomorrow? What's the main 3 that I'm going to prioritize and not just attempt to do, they're gonna get done today?
Yeah.
And that goes back into that conversation we always talk about where it's a process. We may not say, this may not be able to be fully completed today, but at least I have to start now this role, and I have to make a certain level of headway for this ultimate goal. And if you can really chunk things out specifically and accurately enough to where it creates this plan, you're actually doing the things that you're putting on the agenda, that's when the real progress happens.
Yeah.
Because we're in a time and a place where people talk so much.
They live to talk.
Man, people talk so much.
I gotta say this, Mike. Yeah, we're talking right now. You talking about people that's talking, not doing nothing.
That's what it's talkers versus doers. Now, if you do and you have a track record, you have receipts, you have appraisals that actually show real data, you talk. You showing that you've been here, you're reverse engineering it, and you're taking us through a process based on the results you've already achieved. Now the problem is, it's so many people that they want to skip the results or postpone the results. They want to talk now based on what they've read, based on what they're forecasting, based on what they're predicting, what they think they're going to be able to do. This is the problem, because we don't even know how does that even look once pressure comes.
No, it hasn't been tested. They haven't been tested.
Yep.
To be honest with you, I mean, they got theories.
Theories and forecasts.
There you go. And I mean, but that's important as well, because let's talk to those individuals for a minute, because some people that's watching this, they didn't read, they didn't study, and that's good. Nothing's wrong with that. You need to study, you need to do all that. But to present yourself as an expert in something, or to present yourself in a way where, and I call it confidence, you got confidence, and that's cool, but you got unfounded confidence, meaning that you have not gone through it yet. You have not proved out what you think is possible can be done yet. And I use myself as an example, like, hey, look, in my mind, there was things like, hey, I can do this. I can make this happen.
Yeah.
And as I went and started to work towards it, I started to kind of like, well, wait a minute. I could still make it happen, but I can't make it happen the way I thought I could make it happen. So things had to kind of change up a little bit. So to the point about the receipts, once you get receipts, you're like, yeah, this is where I started, but this is kind of how the road went. And you can tell people about it versus you trying to tell somebody about investing is a good example. Financial investment.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people tell you about how to invest your money. You need to do this, this, and this. Well, have you done it?
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Have you done it? Have you made your first million yet in investment? You know what I'm saying? But they can tell you what you need to do with your money.
That's the magic of the internet.
It is.
It's the wild, wild west. It's a place where, like I think I mentioned this before, I watch my kids sometimes. And like YouTube is the way they consume information. Like they don't really watch regular TV other than like sports. And I'm watching, the people that they're watching on YouTube, and I'm always like, who is this? Like, this could be a scrub, this could be a lame, this could be any, because there was no credentials to be able to get that microphone, set up that camera, other than having the money to purchase it. They may not even have the money. Their parents might have bought it. And so we just got to be very careful about who we're listening to in this day and time. And the problem is so much information.
It is.
It's a lot of great stuff, but you have to sift through so much nonsense to get to that 10% that's actually like valuable.
Yeah, and I know we drift a little bit here, but it's tie into this, living like there's no tomorrow, because you do got to move on things. You got to start testing things. You got to start, for one, moving, setting those priorities. And I want to go back to the movie for a minute because, you started out giving the whole premise kind of where Rocky was.
Yeah.
And for those who connect the whole thing where Creed fits in this, understand Apollo wound up training Rocky, who was Creed's father.
That's the original Creed.
That's the connection. Yeah, that's
what y'all see with the young man. This is who everything is based. Creed was a bad man.
It was, and this is why Rocky's Uncle Rocky in Creed.
Man, Creed, that's a whole nother episode, but Creed was a bad man. He was naturally the more gifted athlete. He could move like none other. So Rocky, he had to go to Creed's camp to figure out.
He was a clubber lane. He was a clubber lane.
Yes, he was like, how can I add to my toolbox? Because Mickey died. That's
Mickey died.
Mickey died. He wasn't there. Rocky knew he couldn't beat this guy alone. He's like, man, this guy's a different animal. Yeah. He had to get uncomfortable. And this is a part where the tagline comes from. He's training with Creed. He's not used to this type of training. He in there with the brothers.
Yeah, his brothers.
Dancing, they hit, because this one thing, when you go to the hood, they gonna test you. One thing I always say, when we go to the boxing rings, you can't call yourself a boxer if you don't really spar. You can do all the little 1-2s, you can hit the bags, until you get in there and spar a few rounds and then you come back and we do it again, you're not a boxer, you're just training. When Rocky was getting in there and sparring with Creed, remember, Creed was the best.
He was a champ.
He was a champ, but until he
Rocky.
So when he started sparring with Creed, Creed just teeing off on him. He was getting frustrated. Man, what's wrong with you? Rocky said, hey, man, tomorrow? Tomorrow? Man, there is no tomorrow. This is where the tagline comes from. And it's one of the coldest scenes. And I was just watching it. It just came back to my mind because I'm like, that's that hunger that I gotta keep close.
Yeah.
Because I feel myself, worldly success is it's straight. We ain't doing the best, but we ain't doing the worst either. God, thank God. All the glory go to God. So now I'm like, all right, my kids, the mentees, how do we communicate this message before they hit some of the things that we know is coming? Y'all natural talent is gonna get y'all a certain place. That's God-given, we appreciate that. But don't take it for granted and feel like you don't have to train today because it's somebody out there like a clever lane and you're gonna run into him tomorrow or the next day or the next day.
Yes.
And if you haven't been ready, you haven't been treating each day like, I gotta get everything I gotta get today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna have the same mindset. When you meet this person, it's gonna go bad. It's gonna be a bad day for you.
It is. I mean, and people sitting there like, oh, well, yeah, that's in the box ring and all that. But, you know, I don't want you to miss the metaphor here is that's life. That's business. Life. That's it goes back to the house you started talking about. That's an opportunity you could have missed out on. If you didn't have that, then not that you wouldn't have something else to draw from, but there's fruit in that labor you did and didn't wait for tomorrow for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think the same thing's true with anything we do. It's like, you know, school. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do my homework tomorrow. No, do it today. Get it out the way, because tomorrow you might be sick. Tomorrow you might have to take a trip. Tomorrow something else might come up to get in the way. And I love the fact, you know, and I'm with you with, you know, praying to ask God to give you your priorities for the day, because once you got clarity what God wants you to do, go do it. Because tomorrow there's gonna be another host of priorities that come up. So you gotta take care of what you got today so that you can get it out the way so you can be ready for tomorrow. 100%.
Stand on your course where you're saying, how does this boxing correlate to real life? Going to that property I was speaking of. Mm-hmm. This property represents every property pretty much, but that specific property, now I can say, man, it did great. It's a home run. Mm-hmm. I was going through legal proceedings for over a year. Mm-hmm. At no time did I know how it was. I knew I was legally, I was at a good standpoint, but I didn't know how I was going to shake out. Then we had to go through the rehab. We had some construction challenges. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I got to do this. We got to move the crew over here. We got to go ship. You don't know how these things are going to work out in real time. Mm-hmm. It's only if you endure to the finish line, then you can look back and do inventory on how things played out. But this is the key. Please don't miss this part, is we have to be resilient enough and willing to endure. And a lot of times it's not just a mental decision. That's the biggest part, making that decision. But the next part is you have to build yourself to a certain level to be able to endure certain things. Talk about investing world. You have to cover your bases, you know, have a certain level of savings, have a certain level of income for the next 12 months. You got to be looking at all sides. If we're talking about sports, you have to train. You can't just run out on a football field. You can't just run out in a boxing ring. You will literally hurt yourself. So take this in life and just take the message as today, do everything you can. Train as if it is no tomorrow. And then the next day, have the same mindset. And I know we usually get to that point where we say, what's a couple nuggets that we want to tie? I think that's mine for everybody though. Just today, literally, do everything you can to leave it on the field, everything that you have, and then do it tomorrow. And if you got those 3 priorities and you start checking just those 3, even if it's just one, but you're actually getting things done versus just thinking things and then letting the thought just go. And then you got 10 more thoughts, but you didn't actually do anything.
No, it's like being on a treadmill. You running somewhere, but you never get nowhere. And I think those nuggets, please hear what he said. The only thing I would add to that is that you're gonna get frustrated at times. You're gonna be working hard, you're gonna be doing the work, and you're not necessarily gonna see the results that you wanna see. And don't get serious. I mean, look at, using the Rocky example, the next phase of that, when Rocky had to do a soul search. You know, his wife had to come to him and kind of help get his head right, because he was ready to give up. And when he got his mind right, he got fully invested in the process. And he was still getting hammered in the sparring. He was losing the sprints on the beach. So the point was, he didn't just jump in, all of a sudden he became what he needed to be. It was a grind to get there. And to the point I'm making is that when we make our mind up to hey, live like there's no tomorrow, there's gonna be some work and frustrations involved where it's gonna feel like failure, but it's not.
Yeah. It's growth.
Yeah,
the process is the process, and you have to break the muscles down to build it back up stronger.
No.
And, you know, we're talking literal muscles, but we also just talking about the life muscle.
No,
So,
well, hey, with that, man, look, you back on. We need to hear about Block, where we at.
Yeah.
What's going on, and just share with the group.
Yes, sir. So blockdetroit.com, building legacy, cultivating knowledge is, I'm usually rocking a t-shirt, but I felt inspired to do, throw in the Rocky tagline, but come check us out, blockdetroit.com. We have some tees out there, some different taglines to inspire the people. And it's also coming up hoodie season. So we're gonna be dropping some hoodies coming up soon.
Bet. I'm gonna get my order in. Make sure to get yours, because hey, look, I see people on your Instagram page, sporting. So supplies is short, so don't hesitate on that. And I want to invite you all to Man 2.0 to the second Saturday every month. We got a community of brothers that's actually working to build each other up. That iron sharpening iron is real. That's what the verse we focus on. That's how Mike and I are both in that. We get fed from it. So if you want to come out on the second Saturday of the month at 28202 Franklin Road, 10 a.m. Check us out. Also, Freedom of Christ Ministry. We have Sunday service every Sunday, 11:30. Hey, it's all centered on God. Just understand, even this podcast, we all are believers. So God is the one that gives us the strength to do what we got to do. And if you want to come worship with us, 11:30 on Sunday, 28202 Franklin Road as well. And with that, hey, we're going to see you next time.
Peace.